All right, we're here with Daniel Shaw with Thunderbird Firearms Academy. Why don't you just introduce yourself, Daniel, and tell us a little bit about your experiences and where you're coming from and what all you're involved in right now, and we can kind of go from there.
Sure. My name is Daniel Shaw. I'm the director of training at Thunderbird Firearms Academy, and I do a lot of stuff. And Thunderbird Firearms Academy is my main full-time job. It's what I do pretty much every day of my life, but I feel like I often have 3 or 4 other full-time jobs when I'm not working there. But it all revolves around being a Second Amendment advocate and helping folks learn to live safer lives.
Great. Now, what do you do right now with as far as with Funker and then with Media Lodge and all that? How's all that work together?
Well, I guess a little over a year ago, I was invited to be part of the Funker tactical team. They're kind of U.S.-based Second Amendment advocate, self-defense, typically armed conflict guy, and kind of grew from there. And the only thing I really do with Media Lodge is I had hosted some videos for them at SHOT Show, just going around checking out some new products and let the companies themselves explain the products. Kind of more of a host, not really my opinion a whole lot on them, but just kind of letting the companies who know their product explain, why somebody out there who is searching for that type of product may be interested in. Not everything's for everybody. Just trying to get the information out there.
Gotcha. Well, just curious too, SHOT Show. I know you're just coming off that, and that was a very busy week, of course. And just give us just a little bit of flavor. I know many of us haven't been out there and everything, but just a little flavor of what your what your week is like to go out there and be in the craziness.
I think everybody has a different kind of SHOT Show. If you went to SHOT Show for the Kansas State Rifle Association, you would experience a different show than I would. And the owner of Thunderbird and our retail operations manager went out there as well, and I think they experienced a completely different show than I did as well. So it's all different for everybody. Me, I had a lot of timelines to make, had to be at a lot of different booths to shoot some video, and then we had to go edit some video, and then just meetings that for companies that want to do things with us in the future, balancing all that together and meeting the requirement that Media Lodge had for us was I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun. Didn't get any time to go just browse the show floor, not even once. I would actually plan routes before I went down there in that madhouse, how I was going to get to my next booth I had to go to, and try to knock as many out in that area as I could before I would go back to the area again. And it was really it was fun for me. It was exciting because usually I go there and I've got a couple of meetings and I just kind of cruise around the show, and it's not a big deal, but actually having a job to do there was really fun. And I really enjoyed going around doing that in that format that we did.
All right, you're breaking up just a little bit there, but on our end. But just wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, your audio is pretty rough too.
Is it really? Man, I'm sorry. We'll hope that the internet gods look down on us. I was going to ask you just about some of the new guns that are coming out, and Daniel Defense came out with a new rifle there, and there were several new things that were in the AR market. Magpul coming out with new. Well, I think they had some new shoulder rigs and stuff. What were some of the big things that you looked at and said, "Whoa, this is a showstopper, something we need to look at this year," that came out in the rifle area?
There wasn't a whole lot of stuff that was just really exciting or things that really caught my attention. Like, wow, that's new. I'm pretty sure somewhere at SHOT Show there was about 100 booths that had basically, hey, we build ARs now, because that's kind of the thing that always happens at SHOT Show. And there's a lot of companies that make ARs, a lot of companies that make good ones. Rifle-wise, probably the coolest rifle, and I did a video on it, and I say coolest not because it's groundbreaking or earth-shattering or anything like that, but the Daniel Defense D5. And what I like about it, what I'm excited about it is is their approach in the manufacturing of that. You know, I teach a lot of students per year, law enforcement, civilians, mostly civilians, how to use their rifles in a deadly force type encounter, and how to fight with their gun, how to problem solve it, how to manipulate it properly, you know, and all in the context of, you know, what I see as reality. I see a lot of 308 ARs not performing very well in classes. And a lot of that is lack of standardization in the ammunition. And there's a few guns out there, manufacturers, that always do really well. And if somebody wants an accurate 308 AR, for example, easy to do. There's a lot of those, and they'll do very well if you use them in that precision or designated marksman role. But if you're going to take that rifle and make it more of a battle rifle role, that 30 caliber fighting rifle, kind of in the same role as, you know, someone's M4 would be in the military, a lot of these 308 or 308 ARs, they don't do that. They can't handle those high round counts. They start having trouble. Once you find the ammunition that your AR likes, generally you can run it pretty well and it doesn't have any problems. But it's a little bit of time before you find that right ammunition. So Daniel Defense stated that they tried to find the medium between that precision designated marksman role and that battle rifle role. So they have a highly reliable gun that can also offer a high level of precision. I'm supposed to have one coming out. I've shot one at SHOT Show, but I didn't really get to see groups or anything like that. And I only put about, you know, maybe 35 rounds through it on the video and after the video. So, you know, there'll be some more information coming out. Do some testing and see how it does. But I hope it does like they say it will.
Now, what do you think about the SIG MCX?
You know, the SIG MCX, it's a pretty nice rifle. What it does, I've actually never shot one. I didn't make it over to the SIG booth at range day or out on the show floor. You know, they have a new rifle every year. Last year they had the, or year before last, they had the 5.56XI and 7.62XI and all that good stuff. And it's, I don't see anything in that gun that's just where it really solves a lot of the problems that we encounter with an AR-15. So yeah, not something that I'm crazy about. And it also really wasn't new for the show. We had known they were coming for a couple of years, and they got a little behind on them. And, you know, now they're out and they've been out for a while.
Now let me ask you this personally: would you like a piston-driven or you know, regular impingement?
You know, I spent most of my rounds through my life shooting a regular direct impingement AR, and never really saw the whole problem with the direct impingement AR. And folks were like, "Oh, you can't use that. It's gas operated. There's no way it's going to work." Well, then why has mine worked so long? That just doesn't make sense. The piston, though, it does some things for us, especially if we're running suppressed. If we're shooting with a suppressor, or we leave a suppressor on our gun fairly often, we're going to see a reduced round count between cleanings by adding the suppressor because of the blowback and all that carbon and combustion byproducts that come back down the barrel into the operating group of the gun. You know, dumping gas in from two locations, from down the barrel and that blowback, and from operating the gun itself with a direct impingement gun, I do see a higher round count in between cleanings when we're suppressed through piston guns than I do through direct impingement guns. So that's really your advantage.
Okay. Now the great question, the Ruger American. There's been a lot of yes and no, and you see a lot of stuff on the internet. When it comes down to it, when it boils down to it, on the commercial market, what's your, you know, feeling? What's your, I don't know, what's your preference, if you will?
So I get asked all the time, "Hey, what gun should I buy?" Or I'll get asked all the time. This is the one I'm getting a lot more recently. "Hey, what do you think about the blah blah blah?" Because I carry a blah blah blah, and I want to know what you think. And a lot of times it's somebody who wants me to justify their purchase. And what I tell the internet and what I tell the world, anybody who asks me that, is whether I like a gun or not should be completely irrelevant to you. It should not matter if I like a gun or dislike a gun. My opinion, when I'm going as far as like and dislike, should not affect your purchase whatsoever. My opinion does not matter. Now, my opinion, or let's say my opinion based on what I like and dislike. Now, when I give I see probably a lot more students than a lot of folks out there that are buying guns. A lot of folks aren't trainers. They don't see people shooting guns. They know their own application. When I see a certain gun or a certain group of guns or multiple guns, which I can name off a few guns that just don't typically do well on weekends whenever I've got a high round count class. When they show up with a gun, I can tell you what gun's going to have trouble that day, what gun's not going to have trouble that day before we even start shooting. I don't tell the students that. I let them learn it on their own. But when somebody asks my opinion of a gun, I'm like, you know what? I see those causing having a lot of problems. And here's the issues that I see with those. Take it or leave it. Take it for what it's worth. This is what I see. I am no longer, or I am in no way tied to any particular brand or caliber or anything like that. I'm tied to information. And when the information gives me enough data or enough information for me to make a decision, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to change guns, or you know what? I'm going to change ammunition. I'm going to change calibers. I'm a information fanboy and not any type of gun fanboy. The Ruger American pistol, it's gotten a lot of hate on the internet, and it's gotten a lot of love on the internet. And I think a lot of that hate has been very unfair to that gun. I'm happy to see an American company enter the striker fire game outside of Smith & Wesson, which is great. With that happen, and I know everybody's like, well, Springfield makes them. Well, no, they don't. They're made in Croatia. But I hear that one all the time. The Ruger American pistol, I thought it shot very well. I've seen around 2,000 rounds through the 9mm and about I can't remember the exact number. It was 980 somewhere around there through the 45. 600 of those rounds I did myself through the 9mm. Probably 5 of the 45 were mine. I thought it was a good, solid shooting gun. I wasn't, so impressed that this going to be the one that I carry because I shot 600 rounds through it and it worked. Well, I expect every striker fire gun, every modern handgun that's marketed for self-defense. And that's the important thing. If it's marketed for self-defense, it better be able to get a pretty high round count without having any problems. The Ruger did that. I was able to talk to in a video the director of product management for the Ruger American pistol, and he explained in detail to me, and on the video, you can see it at Funker Tactical YouTube channel, where he explains basically how this pistol ended up the way it was. It wasn't that they ran out of budget, and like I had assumed or thought myself that before they got to the back end, that back strap, that tang that people seem to have a problem with, say it beats up their thumbs. It's interesting, and the way they did that was to add more rigidity and more strength to the gun. So it was a small sacrifice they made to make a stronger, more robust gun. So I think time's going to tell with that gun. I don't love it. I don't hate it. But I'm really happy that it's here. And I hope they listen to the shooters and they come out with the Gen 2, Gen 3, and the gun continues to grow and it becomes a great pistol.
It does look to me like it's a very robust built pistol, and of course they build it, I think, for the trials, military trials, and I was impressed with just how robust it is. I'm a M&P guy myself, but again, American made, hey, all the way. I really like that, and was impressed with that. I know. Another question I had for you was just about the pistols. The Kimber revolver. This is supposed to be the big thing for Kimber. What's your initial impressions? What is it?
I didn't shoot it, but I talked to a few folks who did, and they seemed to like the way it shot. And for me, it doesn't really interest me. I love revolvers. I've spent a while carrying a old Smith & Wesson 442 airweight in my pocket. I think they're great guns, great for secondary guns, or what I call a lazy gun. Right now my lazy gun is a Glock 43. When I don't feel like carrying a real gun, and I'm just dropping it in a pocket or putting it in a belly band to go for a run or something like that, then that's my go-to gun for my lazy gun. But and that's kind of how I treat the revolvers for me these days. And I just wasn't really excited about it. I went and looked at it, and I think I snapped a picture of it, and I didn't shoot it or really mess around with it. I didn't have a whole lot of time out there at range day to do it.
Okay.
But I got good reports from people about it. People seem to like it.
Another one was that I was going to ask you about was the Silencer Co. hybrid that they come out with, and the work that they're doing, integrating, all in one package.
So it sounds you're talking the Maxim 9. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, the video's not out yet, but I for whatever that's worth, I gave that Maxim 9 my most BA in show award, like the coolest item out there, because it is kind of revolutionary. Now we knew about it before SHOT Show; they'd done a press release earlier in the year, but I really like the idea of having a suppressed handgun. You know, right now suppressors on handguns are, you know, they're not very holsterable. There's a lot of other issues that go into it, but this is the start of something that could be revolutionary in the self-defense world, the law enforcement world. The military application is great. I've been an advocate of suppressors for years, as long as I've known they've existed, and you can get them. And it's not just a hitman thing. It's everybody can have a suppressor, and it's just plain good etiquette to make your gun quiet. On the battlefield, the application, you have to communicate better. I'm saving taxpayer dollars, because right now I have very, very poor hearing from the sounds and explosions that I've been exposed to in my military career. And thankfully the taxpayers fund the VA, and the VA helps me fund, you know, my medical expenses for my ears, and I need hearing aids and some other issues, and I've got friends with the same issues. I would love to reduce that, and, you know, help our service members and also help law enforcement. We're communicating better on the battlefield when we're suppressed. We're not having the long-term effects of hearing damage inside an enclosure when we're in gunfights or just training. Having that integrated on that handgun is
breaking up again.
Had a little delay there. You back now?
You're breaking up really bad there. I didn't say that hardly.
Now you're sounding a little clearer than you did before. Are you on satellite internet or something crazy out there?
What's that?
I said, are you on satellite internet or something crazy out there?
No, actually, I'm on wired, you know, DSL website, whatever it is, cable.
Yeah.
In, so I don't know. Who knows?
It sounded great before it started, which is why I was like, that's strange.
Yeah.
But anyway, that so everybody looks at that Maxim 9 and they say, "Oh, wow, why would I get that? That's not going to work. I wouldn't trust that." Well, let's look back. This year is actually the 30th anniversary of Glock. Let's look back 30 years. People pick up a Glock pistol and they look at it, and the thing moves around and rattles a little bit, and, you know, it's like this piece of metal on top of a piece of plastic. You still there, Lau? You froze.
I don't know.
You still there?
I'm still there. Are you still there?
Yeah, you froze up on me. You weren't. I don't know what's going on.
You froze up on me too. So.
We're back. Anyway, so
There we go.
I don't know where I got cut off at, but this year is actually the 30th anniversary of Glock. And if we look back 30 years ago, everybody looked at Glock like, I'm not carrying that thing. I'm not trusting my life to that. They called it tactical Tupperware and everything else. And now it's pretty, there are plenty of them out there, but it's not the easiest thing to find the law enforcement agencies that it's carrying anything other than Glock. You know, Smith & Wesson jumped in that market very heavily and made a lot of agencies an offer they can't refuse. And a lot of those agencies have dropped Smith & Wesson and went back to Glock, including Wichita City, where I'm living. But 30 years ago, people looked at that gun and they thought, no, I'm not touching this thing. I'm not going to carry it. I don't trust it. So I'm interested in see the future of what Silencer Co. is doing with that Maxim 9. I think it's groundbreaking. I think they lead the industry in suppressor technology, but not also suppressor technology, but also they lead the industry in educating the public that you can have a suppressor. And you should go get a suppressor, and why not? This is one of your rights. It's perfectly fine to have a suppressor, and they're not just for super spec ops groups and hitmen or anything crazy.
Yeah, and hopefully that will, you know, the industry will drive the price down, number one, and then number two, if we can get legislation through federally that they're working, of course, through the Hearing Protection Act, we can see, hey, silencers go full bore, and that'll bring the price down. I mean, you're seeing them, you know, anywhere from what $600 to $1,000 plus, and for rifle and pistol silencers. And you know, if we can see that happen, of course, that's why I use the hashtag fight the noise all the time, to see that we get awareness out there. And man, if we can see that happen on the federal level and get that taken out of the NFA, which whatever reason didn't belong there to begin with, Um, we can see a man Sancho could go crazy, and all the others, companies out there, Griffin and others would have a huge market, I think.
Yeah, no, it should be. I mean, we at Thunderbird Firearms Academy, we do a large amount of suppressor sales a year, and we educate the public with a few events that we do a few times a year to let them know how to buy an NFA item and how to buy a suppressor. And I could talk for hours about why I believe that suppressors shouldn't even be an NFA item. I can also explain to you why I believe that SBRs shouldn't be an NFA item. It's ridiculous. It's taxation without justification. It is another hoop you have to jump through to have for your Second Amendment right, and I think it should completely be abolished.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we at the KSRA, 100% behind that. I really mystified it as to how it ever became an NFA item. I mean, evidently somebody had some weird thought in their head when it came about back in the 60s, but actually, I think it came under 86 Act, didn't it?
I think so. I can't remember exactly. And, it's just typical ATF. We don't know what to do right now. Let's make something up, just like what they did with the SIG brace. And then they went back the other way.
I was going to also ask you about, and I saw you go to the, I think it was the Cree booth?
Cry Precision.
Cry Precision. And don't they put out LBEs?
Yeah, they make Cry is their a lot of the Ranger regiments in the Army and elite forces in the U.S. wear Cry and use their gear a lot, and that they pretty much tailor and make their equipment for those types of applications. And they're usually I've got a lot of tactical gear companies that I like. There's maybe this company, I love this product from them, but this company has a pouch that I love more than the one in this company. And so my gear is all a mix and match of a lot of different companies. And Cry is definitely one of those that I've always known to have this great equipment that's well thought out, and they're very progressive and trying to figure out what's the next best thing that we can build for keep our boys alive.
Now, as far as price point goes, do they stay real competitive and stuff for the commercial market?
Cry really, I don't know the best way to put this without offending somebody. There's gear that I would wear if I were going to do airsoft, gear that I would wear if I were just a guy who went and did training, and that's it. That's all I want to do, is just because I enjoy having fun training. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I love those people, and a lot of them give me a job, and I really appreciate that. But then if I'm going to Afghanistan tomorrow, I can give you a whole list of gear that I'm definitely not going to have because I've seen it break. I've seen it not work. I've seen it. And then a lot of them have great warranties. Oh, they got a great warranty. You break it, you send it back. Well, I don't need to send something back. I need something to work for me on demand and consistently work for me. So that's the thing. Some of those companies that I really like a lot, that I see every weekend in classes, work and perform well, and I've actually used on deployments myself, and know of other folks who've had great experience with them. Or Cry is one of them. First Spear, HSGI, High Speed Gear, and there's a few other ones out there. One of my favorite chest rigs, just a chest rig, not plate carrier or anything. I really like the Haley Strategic D3 Heavy, the 308 chest rig. And there's a lot of good gear out there. There's a lot of smaller companies that make good gear. There's a lot of companies people have never heard of, but guys who use the gear a lot know about them, and you may not see them everywhere. Like back in the late '90s and early 2000s, we all wore Blackhawk because that's what was out there. Eagle started getting some government contracts, and then we were all wearing Eagle and a little mix of Eagle and Blackhawk, and those two have kind of went away. Blackhawk still trying to maintain its presence, trying to revamp and doing some stuff in the holster world and some other things that have some pretty promising stuff. But the guys downrange are wearing a lot of good stuff out there from the companies I named.
I noticed, I saw the other day that you have a crossbreed.
Oh, I didn't answer your question either. Cry is on your higher end of the spectrum, just like First Spear is on your higher end of the spectrum of pricing. They're not competitors with companies like Condor and some other companies like that. It's a different category. It's your I guess if you wanted to talk cars, Blackhawk would probably be your Chevrolet of tactical gear. Condor would maybe be your Kia, and Karai would be your I don't know, your Ferrari, somewhere in there.
Just another. Are you there still?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Another quick one was bags and stuff that would the gray man bags. Was there a lot of that out there? I mean, stuff where guys could carry off body. I know I'm not a big fan of it, but some are, and you may be too. I don't know. But you guys, your Van Quest, your Max Edition, and Blackhawks got into that, or 511. What was out there, and were you impressed with anything?
I didn't get to see anything like that at any booths or anything like that. I actually carry a little 511 bag with me pretty often, just keep my computer in it and iPad and some other stuff that I used to do work in. And sometimes I drop a gun in there when I'm not carrying it on my body. And, I'm not a fan of having Molly explosion, all over my gear and just, really looking like, oh, that's probably got a gun in it. Like, that's not what I want to carry. 511's got some stuff like that. And, they're always coming out with some new stuff, which is pretty slick. And there's a lot of companies out there. Gray Ghost Gear does some pretty good gray man type stuff, or more discreet things. And those are companies I know of. I didn't see them at SHOT Show there. Actually, the only thing I did at the 511 booth is I went and did a video for their women's line of clothing, which is pretty much the coolest women's line of clothing in the whole tactical world, which I'm pretty happy about that.
They went to some yoga pants, I believe, didn't they? Some tactical yoga pants?
Yeah, the Raven Range pants. My wife picked up a pair there, and she loves them. And they're, because she wears those kind of pants pretty often, but she also carries a gun all the time. So, well, I say all the time. She doesn't usually go to any government buildings or anything like that, so she pretty much is all the time.
Yeah.
So having belt loops and having a little bit more rigid pants, she's able to dress the same way she dresses a lot and carry a gun. So pretty awesome. A lot of the girls like those.
That was one thing for the ladies that I was, kind of caught my eye. Something they'd be interested in too. Crimson Trace. I know they came out with a few extra things this year, and was wondering about. I think it was them, or no, it was actually another company that came out with the 4-light around your barrel on your AR lighting system, and then of course Crimson Trace came out with the remote system that you actually did a video on. I posted. I
didn't see the one with the light surrounding the barrel. I don't know anything about that one.
Okay.
The Crimson Trace has the link, LINQ. That's another thing. It's not out yet. They're still cleaning it up and making sure it's ready, and it's something that's going to require some testing. To me, the more things on the gun that require batteries, the more things on the gun that require maintenance, and the more electrical connections on my gun, the more likely my gun's going to break. That's just the way I've seen things in my life, and it's been pretty rough on guns and some pretty rough weather. So I worry about those things. I can't say if it's going to be great or not. It's something that I'm going to keep looking at, and it might be another one of those things. As technology advances, it becomes something that stays.
Can you speak just a little bit to, in general, to lasers and lights mounted on your handgun, for instance, and just, your feeling there? That's asking a little much for you, man. I don't know, but just give us a little bit of your taste of the feeling about that.
Sure. So I guess we'll start with lights. I see discussion and I get questions asked to me a lot. Well, I read on the internet this, and the internet says that I shouldn't put a light on my gun because, let me back up. Window breaks, lamp falls over, something, middle of the night. You wake up, grab your gun, go to your living room because you shouldn't have done that, but that's what you did because we're men and that's what we do. Better thing would be ensconce location, but different topic altogether. Or get the family together in a safe place. You go in and it's really that old uncle that always gets drunk and he knows where you hide your key and he got kicked out of his house again that night. So now he shows up at your house in the middle of the night and thinks he's going to crash on your couch. And now you put 5 shots in his chest because he's a shadowy figure that you think's trying to rob him. One thing could have avoided that. It could have been a flashlight.
Yeah.
I get it all the time. Hey, what kind of night sight should I get? I'll get asked this tomorrow at work. What kind of night sight should I get? My answer to that question is, what kind of flashlight do you have? If the answer is, well, I don't have a flashlight. Well, if you don't have a flashlight that you can't drop multiple times in a puddle of water that's puddled up on concrete, then you're not ready to buy night sights. That's my personal opinion. If I need sights, I need Trigicon or any kind of tritium to light up my 3 dots and light up my sights so I can aim at a target that I can't see better, but I can't properly illuminate that target, but I need those lights on my sights because I can't see them. There's a problem there. I need to be able to identify my target. So get a flashlight. Once you got that, we'll talk about night sights. The next thing is people will tell you that maybe you shouldn't have a light on your gun because you have to point your gun at things and illuminate them. I'm not sure what kind of light these folks are using, but I've got a 300 lumen light on my handgun, and there is not a single room in my house or yours, Lyle, that I can't bring that gun into the room and shine it on the floor. Or if I want even more illumination, I can shine it on the ceiling and bounce that light off of your white ceiling, which I'm sure you probably have a white ceiling like I do. And I can illuminate that room completely without pointing that thing at any object in the room. So if we've got a good high lumen light on our gun, and we have some proper techniques, then we don't have to point that gun at anything to actually illuminate that target or that potential target. So I don't believe that we have to point our gun at our kids to make sure that's our kid, because with a little bit of training and a little bit of thought experiments and some quality gear, I believe in having light on the handgun. In daytime, in low light, all those things. I'm going out from a brightened situation into a darker building, and my eyes have time to adjust. I may not be able to see right then. Having a flashlight might help me. Seeing in the shadow. I could go on for hours about the importance of having a flashlight. The answer is both, one on the gun and one for in hand. I use my flashlight that's in my pocket and in my little bag with my computer a lot more often than I use my gun. It's something I use on almost a daily basis, as a flashlight on my phone or a flashlight from my little bag that I carry often. Lasers, why not? I can shoot. If I've got my laser zeroed properly, I could be in a very awkward shooting position, utilizing cover, keeping the majority of my body behind cover, and not have to expose the additional parts of my body needed to get proper sight alignment. When all I would need to do is be able to expose enough to get visual on the target and then shine my light or my laser on them and then have a good clean trigger press and get an impact wherever my laser is pointing. They're very nice for low light situations, and I find them very beneficial for students of mine who their eyes are beginning to degrade because of age. It helps them quite a bit. Good training tool in a lot of ways too.
That's like you and I both. Well, yours are fixed now.
Yeah.
Your eyes are fixed now, but I still have lenses and everything. But you wake up in the middle of the night, and you're groggy to begin with, and here you are. You have to throw on your 4 pair, your 4 eyes to get acclimated. If your prescription's that strong, it does. I mean, a laser would make a huge difference.
Yeah, totally.
You're fixed though now. Aren't you 20/20?
Oh no, I'll never get 20/20 just because of the way my eyes are. I'm 25 or 20/25, 20/30, somewhere around there. I've actually got a follow-up appointment today. I'll never get to 20/20.
Well, at least you can see better. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I had some other questions just written down. And I think you answered them actually a little bit, but if you were to wrap up your SHOT Show experience and say, I come away and say, and not that you're going to buy it, but say, here's my favorite rifle from SHOT Show. Here's my favorite pistol that I saw. I'd be interested in. I might buy. I might think about purchasing, or giving it somebody else for thought. And piece of gear. What would those three things be that you would point back to?
Favorite rifle, it's kind of a toss-up between the Daniel Defense D5, and anybody who knows me at all or follows me at all knows that I am a lover of the AK platform, for a variety of different reasons, from its history and the lore behind it to its application and just ruggedness, and the kind of people that love the AK. But Century Arms has their new 12-inch SBR. That is a really, really cool rifle. I've got the long version of it, and I'm really excited about getting my hands on one of those. So I'd say a toss-up between the D5 and that Century SBR AK. Okay. Handgun, the Maxim 9 is a handgun from Silencer Co., so I got to go with the Maxim 9. Just like it's the thing that I'm most excited about of the entire show altogether. So, I really dig that. Favorite gear? I don't know about favorite, but 511 had this top secret that they wouldn't really talk about much. It was displayed above the booth, and they wouldn't bring one down for anything. We went to like the chief executive officer and tried to beat him up. Because I have a few connections there through Funker. We've done some things with 511 in the past, and we thought we could get it to happen, and it was so secretive that we could not get it to happen. They got a new little plate carrier that has kind of an octagonal shaped MOLLE attachment system that allows you to attach MOLLE in any direction that you like, and it looks pretty slick. And I'm hoping to get my hands on one of those and check it out in more detail. So, piece of gear, that's probably what I would. And if somebody would have told me that my favorite or thing that I'm most excited about piece of gear wise was a plate carrier from 511 before SHOT Show, I'd have told them they were lying. Because 511 does a lot of things very great, but I've never really seen them have a plate carrier that was impressive, or anything like, or a chest rig that was impressive. But this one, pretty excited about it.
That's cool. And they are, and I know there's so many companies out there, and 511 has, of course, led the industry in a lot of different areas, and so this is interesting to see them kind of gravitate into this area. So. Can you introduce, I'm going to kind of bring it to a conclusion here. Can you introduce us to two things? One of which is your project through, is Tango Yankee Down. Is that right?
Tango Yankee? Chip?
Tango Yankee. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Sorry.
Introduce us to that and the whole concept and just what it means to you and everything. I know it's just an impressive situation. So.
Yeah, sure. So I guess a little bit over a year ago now. Yeah, I guess it is a little over a year ago. Somebody did something very, very nice for me, and it wasn't like they'd spend a lot of money or a lot of time doing it. It was just the fact that they did something and they didn't even know I had this need. They just kind of assumed, and they didn't ask me or anything else. They just did something, and I was like, it just blew me away that somebody that spent the time it took to do that and the little bit of money it took to do it, but they did it for me, and no questions asked, no nothing, didn't want anything at all, just wanted to do it. And I just thought that was amazing that they did that. And I had like tears in my eyes telling them thank you. And I just got back from teaching a class in Canada, and one of the students there gave me a subdued American flag patch that was just, Canadian flag patch. And that was the closest thing I had to me that meant something to me. And I wanted to give him something that meant something to me. So I handed him that. And over the next few days, I was thinking, I want to carry something around with me to give to people when they do something nice. And I was just going to make these just for me. I'm going to give them out when somebody does something deserving of thanks. And then it turned into a challenge coin. And then I looked at challenge coins, and I didn't want to spend that much money. They cost a lot. And I looked at poker chips. And then I had a good friend of mine who's also a good graphic designer designed me a graphic for these poker chips that I was planning on carrying just for myself in my own pocket. And then I tell a few people about it, and they're like, you have to sell those. You have to put those on the internet and get everybody doing that. Like, that's an amazing idea. The whole idea is when someone does something deserving of thanks. Maybe you're in line, you forget your wallet, they buy your coffee. Maybe it's the person whose hands are full, but they stay and they wait and they hold the door for you. You know, I've had emails from people who daughters gave them to their stepfathers. Thank you for being my dad, even though you weren't my real dad. You know, like you name it. I've had these been given. I get emails all the time about them. And the whole idea is when somebody does something deserving of thanks, you use this little chip. It says on the back what you do in this life matters, because I believe that what you do in this life matters. We could leave this world. We could leave this world a better place, or we could just leave it the way it is and not have an impact on it. And I decided to take these things into, I guess, a market and sell them. But I'm really trying to sell a movement. I'm trying to sell people to get this done. You know, to stop walking through the world, you know, with your head down in your phone. Pay attention to people around you, build relationships, tell people thank you. You'll find that when you have a couple of these in your pockets, you're a nicer person, you're a better person, because you're trying to do things that you would deserve one of these for, while you're looking for other people doing things that may deserve that thanks. It's just a simple little chip, nothing special, just a little printed poker chip. You carry it too long, you're probably going to wear the paint off of it. I get that every once in a while. But what it makes you do, it's used as a medium to get people to say what's on their mind to somebody else. And that makes it powerful. You can get those and check it out. And I got a little video up explaining this too at tangoyankiechip.com. On Facebook, we're the Tango Yankee Project.
Awesome. Man, I appreciate you explaining that and everything. Just I was impressed. Really.
It's been awesome. It's been the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. I get the most impact, the emails I get and everything else. It's super awesome. We don't sell a ton of chips. I wish we could sell more, because I do give a percentage, and that percentage fluctuates depending on what's going on and what I can handle. I give back to my brothers that need help, and a few different organizations out there, veteran organizations. And I would love to sell more and to be able to do more. But also, it's just awesome, even going knowing that I have some circulating, and I think we're at about 11 different countries right now. It's awesome. So cool.
That's cool. Another one of the things was just your all's training and everything that's going on at Thunderbird right now. Invite folks to kind of give a synopsis in a nutshell. I know you guys are super busy. You got 3 classes going on right now. It's all filled up through 2016.
Yeah, we just added 3 new concealed carry classes because we filled them up, and we added 3 new, and we're going to add more. So right now, what we're doing is taking a list of folks who want to take concealed carry class, because we're offering that class for free. We add them to a list, and whenever I find a date where I can add a new class, and we're experimenting with some weekday format classes right now and see how that works. If they work well, we'll do a few more weekday, like split between 2 days. So we meet the Kansas State requirement of 8 hours, and it's a little bit less taxing on the person's work life or family life. So we're working on a few different things to get a few more of those people in the classes. And if you get your name added to that list, we'll call the people and tell them, hey, we got a date for you if you want it. And we add a new one. So that's going. That's not our main class. There's a lot of places that exist. And one of the things, and that's really the only class that a lot of trainers and a lot of organizations do, is just concealed carry, and they kind of survive about it. We've kind of gotten some pushback from some of those companies that are upset with us, and that's just not how we work. Concealed carry is just one of our classes. It's actually our lowest level class that we do, other than maybe a couple of small 2-hour classes. We encourage people to come back and get a higher level of training, something that's a little bit more geared toward reality and surviving that immediate inside of the engagement when it's happening, that deadly force encounter, and immediately following that when we've got witnesses around and we have responding officers arriving, and on into the courtroom, like all those things. So there's a lot of things to continue to think about and continue to learn about outside of just simple shooting well and tactics. And we have classes to cover as many things as we can, and they're doing very well. I don't know if it's because of San Bernardino. People are waking up to the idea that real violence exists and it can be visited on them, or don't know what it is. Maybe the economy's had something to do with it. I have no idea, but we're doing really, really well in putting people in classes. And a lot of we have never spent a dime in marketing for any of our training. It's the word of mouth of our students. They go back and tell people like, wow, you really need to go take this class. It was great. And our Handgun Vitals 1 class is really our flagship class. That one, I got to, even though that one cost, I have to always find new dates to put new ones in there. I do typically 2 of those a month. And even now, those are full out for the middle of April right now. So they're staying full. But I'll find a few other spots to put ones in between now and April. But it's just, it's great that people are coming to get in training, and I'm thrilled about it. And not just because this is my livelihood and my job, but it is my livelihood and my job because I chose it to be, because this is what I want to do. I believe I'm put on this earth to be an educator. And this is the thing that I know the most about in the world, and I spend every single day of my life continuing my quest for expertise. I don't consider myself an expert, but I definitely want to be an expert in the next 10 years, and I'm going to work every single day to get there. And that's what I do for my students.
That's awesome. That's why, of course, you're going to be a part of KSRA annual meeting here in April. Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Man, going to be doing a workshop in the afternoon. Instructor Zero is going to be doing the keynote speaking at the luncheon. And by the way, if you're listening and you don't have your tickets, get on the KSRA web.org or .net and follow to the annual meeting or to the store. Get your luncheon tickets to be able to go see Instructor Zero. I mean, that'll be just a great time. And get lunch too. But and Daniel will be there, of course, throughout the entire meeting. I think you're supposed to. As far as
I'll be there. Mm-hmm.
And Thunderbird will be there as well, and and Teresa Vale. Just we're looking forward to a great time. Just having a lot of interaction with folks and passing it down. Going to be the big thing that we're going to be doing, passing down the Second Amendment to a new generation. And I know you're very big on that too, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
One last question, and I know this might kind of sound strange, but I know where you're from. Some people don't. Who's going to win the Super Bowl this Sunday?
I know the Panthers are playing in it, but I don't know the other team that's in it. So I guess I'll go for the Panthers because I'm from North Carolina.
That's what I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be crazy into football, and then I had a couple of deployments that were both right in the middle of football seasons, and I stopped paying attention to it. I've never really watched it since. In NFL, the only sport where I really get into, you can make fun of me if you like. I love World Cup soccer, and I love Olympic soccer, and I also, me and the wife get crazy over some Duke Blue Devils in college basketball season.
They dropped out of the top 25, unfortunately.
We got a super young team, and a very, very difficult schedule, unlike some local teams that think they're good here in Kansas. Sorry, I'm sure all of Kansas is upset with me right now. All 5 of them that are watching.
It's okay. We'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate your time and everything, and looking forward to April. And actually, we're going to be coming down and visiting you. I talked to Ryan yesterday.
Yep.
In February here, actually in a few weeks. So
sounds good.
Going to be looking forward to that.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the invite to the Kansas State Rifle Association meetings. And anytime somebody wants to or allows me to give my voice and be heard, I really appreciate it. Whether it's through a Google Hangout or a group of preaching to the choir, as it may be. But I truly believe that that's one of the things that I do, that I try to do, is I enjoy rocking boats. Not rocking boats because I want to cause problems or cause drama, but I enjoy rocking boats because my enemy is dogma and institutional inertia. And I want those things to completely go away in the Second Amendment advocate world and the self-defense world. So if I can inspire people to fight a little bit harder, do a little bit more, write their congressman a little bit more, anything, whatever I can do. Love to be a part of it, have an influence.
Man, we appreciate you, and KSRA appreciate your friendship, and I do too personally. I mean, you've been a friend personally to me, and Funker has been too. Talked to Paulo the other day, and so just we're just grateful to KSRA for the opportunity to be able to interact with you and Funker Tactical as well as Thunderbird, and there's so many other guys out there too. I hope if you're an instructor watching this video later on, if you're training Kansas, or maybe you're just a person out there watching, or on the KSRA webpage, or on the Facebook page, make sure you come and glean information. And we're a community that wants to be together rather than apart.
Hey, you know, I had an local instructor, Wichita local instructor, come in yesterday, and he wanted to take. He's actually a friend of mine. He wanted to take the Handgun Models 1 class, and he signed up for a date, and he was ready for me to charge him, and I just handed him a receipt because I took care of it for him, and he expected to pay the price that everybody else did. And like, you know, you don't have to do that. There's going to be a class that you have that you come up, and I'm going to have the free time. I want to go take your class as long as you allow me to do that. So there's some kind of perception sometimes that I don't know what it is, that maybe people are too caught up in money or making money, and this person's not staying with the program and helping us all make money. If you're doing any kind of training for money, you need to go find another job and get out of this business. I'm held accountable by one person and one person only, and that's my student. That's it. It's not the company I work for. It's not anything else. That's where my responsibility lies, is to make sure they're getting the right information. And if they aren't my student and I can help another instructor reach their students better, I am completely happy doing that, because I guarantee you I'm going to go to their class and I'm going to walk away from that class knowing something or learning a way to explain something that I had never even thought of before, and it's going to make my classes better from that day forward. I'm not done learning, and I learn something new every single day. And but we got to keep that attitude, you know, grind hard, stay humble, that kind of thing.
Amen, man. I appreciate it, and I know we've gone a little bit over time, and I appreciate you giving up your time today. So
yeah, no problem. I enjoyed it.
It's actually, I don't know if it's raining or doing something outside here, so I don't know what it might be doing down in Wichita today, but we were thinking we were going to be under 5-6 inches of snow this morning, and we aren't, so that's one good thing.
Nice.
But we're looking forward to April again, and thank you for giving us just a review of SHOT Show from your perspective. And can you point us to Gunfighter Cast?
Oh, my old podcast. I would love to be able to have the time to do it more, because I really enjoyed it. It's kind of where I got started in this whole world when I was still in the Marine Corps. Gunfightercast.com, or you can go on iTunes and search Gunfighter Cast. Completely free. Just go listen to some old podcasts and old shows, and there's a lot of good information in there. You listen too hard, there might be some things that I've changed my mind about, because, again, I said I'm a fan of information. But there's a lot of good content in there for the law-abiding armed citizen.
All righty. Well, man, I think we're going to wrap it up for today, and look forward to we've got Mike Christensen coming up, I believe it is, and some other guys lined up for interviews, and just looking forward to a great year for 2016 for KSRA, and just being able to interact with you guys, the viewers and followers on Facebook, and look up Daniel. Look up his, it's linked on all of our Facebook pages. It's linked, his actual Facebook pages, and so go out there and get connected with good guys like Daniel, and man, and I know there's 100 of them other guys out there too that I know too, but today we're dealing with Daniel, and so look him up, get connected, go take a class if you're in the Wichita area, if you can, with him or with somebody else. Get some training. That's what we're about at Training Kansas and KSRA. So thanks again, Daniel, for your time, and we'll maybe do it again.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for watching.
All right. Thanks, Ben.
Bye.
Bye-bye.